Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and in today's video we are doing a long overdue weight loss update. I am so thrilled to be sharing this with you. I'm glad you guys are here. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we go any further in today's video, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, Mochi Health. I've talked about Mochi Health before, and I am beyond thrilled to be sharing them again with you today. Mochi Health is a telehealth obesity management program. Their goal is to make comprehensive obesity management affordable and accessible, regardless of your level of insurance coverage. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss, which includes visits with board-certified physicians, nutrition consultants, and medication delivered right to your door. Mochi's mission is to make their patients feel heard and understood without shame or blame. Here's how it works. Start by taking the free online eligibility quiz. Once you've determined your eligibility, you'll sign up for your plan, whether that's nutrition only or nutrition and medication. Next, you'll self-schedule your appointment with a Mochi physician through the online self-portal. Then you'll meet with your doctor, go over everything that's going on in your life, and have medication prescribed if it's necessary. Your medication will be sent directly to your mailbox. Membership to Mochi Health includes appointments with your Mochi provider, unlimited visits with your registered dietitian, optional orders for labs, scans, sleep apnea tests, or genetic testing, support from the prior authorization team, administration and refill team support, access to the Mochi patient portal, and access to an online support group. Membership to Mochi can be paid annually or monthly. If you decide to pay monthly, it's $79 a month plus the price of medication. If you pay for your annual membership, it's $66 a month plus the cost of medication. Compound GLP-1 medication for a 1-month supply with Mochi Health is $99 a month, and compounded GLP-1 and GIP is $199 a month. And the great thing is that's the cost no matter your dosage. So when you titrate up and your dosage goes up, your fees don't. And also the prior authorization team will help you determine if your insurance will cover the cost of medication. I have been very open and honest with you about my experience using a GLP-1 medication over the last year, and it has helped me completely change my life. I've heard you over and over in the comments say that you and your providers feel that that's the next step for you in your weight loss journey and your health management journey, and yet your insurances don't cover them. So I'm thrilled to be partnering with Mochi Health to be bringing this to you again. When you use my link down in the description box, new Mochi patients are going to receive $40 off their first month's membership. I have not only met with the Mochi team myself, but I have friends and family who are currently using Mochi Health to reach their health goals, and I am thrilled to be bringing this offer to you again today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments. And again, thank you so much to Mochi Health for sponsoring today's video. So to get us started in today's video, I thought it would be fun to show you a quick before picture. When I started this journey, this is a picture from June of last year. Kind of crazy. June of last year. I had already started my weight loss journey, but really was not making any progress yet. And I weighed in at 266 pounds at my highest weight. And this is that same picture taken this year. Amazing, right? Amazing. And that's still a month ago, and I have had significant progress since then. So that is just a quick little where we started and where we're at. And that picture just always blows my mind. When I go back and I look at old videos, those also blow my mind. I recently put out a like 4th of July marathon, and I was floored to see, you know, because when you look at yourself every day, you don't always see the progression. You don't always see the progress. And so it's just pretty mind-blowing to see that. You see the scale, right? And yeah, so how do we get here? How do we get here? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am down a total of 87 pounds as of today. 87 pounds. When I started this weight loss journey a year ago, over a year ago now, I always knew what I wanted and where my end goal was, but to imagine yourself as an after, to picture you reaching those goals, that can be very, very difficult. I remember using an AI generator to help me see images of myself down 100 pounds. And, you know, it's interesting now looking back how close to those images I'm getting. And I use those as motivation to help get me through when the scale was trickling down. It's trickling even slower now, but it can be very difficult to stay motivated when you're on a weight loss journey. And so I can't believe that we're down 87 pounds. So I have an entire playlist of my weight loss journey, how I started, why I started. I'm gonna be upfront and honest. I do take a GLP-1. I am on Zepbound. I have been on Zepbound since February of 2024. Well, really March of 2024. I got my prescription in February of 2024, but it took a long time for insurance to approve it, and then for me to finally be able to get the medication. It was on a massive shortage when I started, and then I had a hysterectomy last May, May of 2024, and I couldn't take the medication while I was going under anesthesia. So there just seemed to be a lot of stalling at the beginning, and I really don't feel like my true weight loss journey started until about July of 2024. So really a good solid year that I have been actively in a calorie deficit, actively working out, and actively taking my medication regularly. So I would say it's been a good solid year. I will link that playlist for you down below. You can go back and check out those videos, but to give you a very Cliff Notes version and not to just rehash things we've already discussed. But like I said, I started out at 266 pounds. I was at a well-check visit, just my annual physical appointment with my doctor, a new doctor to me, and she was like, we have to change something. Your BMI is so high. I think I started off with my BMI at like 44, and 44%, I think. It's really, really high. And that put me in the morbidly obese category. And she basically said, if you don't make changes now, this is going to kill you early. My years of being morbidly obese have put incredible stress on my body. I have arthritis in my feet and my hands. That's just something that I have that I, manage. But the extra weight on my body and on my feet dramatically increased the arthritis and how it was affecting my feet. And unfortunately, that did cause permanent damage that I cannot undo. However, and on my knees, since losing the weight, I will say that I feel so much better, right? I feel like I can actually be up on my feet and move around a whole lot more. It was hard for me to do everyday things, put on my shoes. It was hard for me to roll over in my bed. It was hard for me, to do just about anything. I was winded easily. I was tired easily. And it's just amazing how that extra weight just puts so much stress on your body. It puts stress on me internally as well. I am an asthmatic, and I felt like I struggled sometimes with the asthma way more than I do now. And I do contribute that to the extra weight. And of course, my emotional and mental health was in the trash when I started my weight loss journey. COVID did a number on me. I have always struggled with ADHD and anxiety. I've always battled my own mind. Then you add in COVID and the isolation. Then we moved across the country. It was just like all these things compounded. And I think I put on like 50 pounds just so rapidly, in like a 6 to 8 month period. It was crazy. So as I mentioned, I take a GLP-1. It was a conversation that actually my doctor brought to me. She started the conversation and said, hey, I think that we need to discuss this as an option. And I said, absolutely. I was willing to do just about anything at that point. It wasn't to the place of weight loss surgery. I wanted to try other things first. And I was very grateful that my insurance did approve me on my BMI alone because it was so high. I didn't have any other, contributing factors. I am not pre-diabetic. I do have insulin resistance, so that is something I have to keep in mind. I'm perimenopausal, obviously. I'm 41, soon to be 42, so add that in there. And then on top of that, my metabolism is just trash. My body does not utilize the things that I give it the way that it would if it was a well-working machine. I definitely think it's getting better though. Now I will tell you that if you're not familiar with GLP-1s, if you're not on one, or if you're on the fence and you're not really sure how you feel about them, that is totally fine. I am a massive supporter of GLP-1s. I think that any insurance company that doesn't cover them or encourage their obese patients to use them is absolutely mind-blowing to me. It is a revolutionary medication that is saving lives every single day. I get asked all the time, will you stay on a GLP-1 forever? I'll stay on the GLP-1 as long as I possibly can. If that's forever, it's forever. GLP-1 is a hormone that your body creates on its own. However, you utilize it within 30 seconds to a minute when it's released in your body. And when you take the medication, it extends that shelf life of the GLP-1 hormone for 5 to 7 days instead of 30 seconds to a minute. So it has benefits for your entire body. I'm not going to go into these things. I am not a doctor. If you're curious, you can do your own research, talk to your own board certified clinicians. Don't ask me. But I will tell you that anything I've ever read about GLP-1s and the benefits, I have seen all of them. But they are not a magic wand. So they are a tool to be used to help you address your obesity issues, but they are not a magic wand. You can't just take the shot and assume that then the weight just falls off. It doesn't melt fat. That's not how it works. However, it does make all those other things you need to do to lose weight a lot easier and more manageable. So for example, I also make sure that I'm in a calorie deficit. I've talked about this in all of my videos. I use the MyFitnessPal app, the free version. I track my food. I track my macros. Right now I'm trying to put on muscle, so I'm trying very hard to be mindful about the amount of protein that I'm eating, which can be difficult, especially on days like today. It's Sunday when I'm filming this. It's shot day. Took my shot about 2.5 hours ago, and I already feel like I have zero appetite and want to eat literally nothing. This will last for the rest of today and part of tomorrow, and then I'll be back to normal. But this morning, before my shot kicked in, I made sure that I had a really good, healthy, hearty breakfast with a lot of food. Took all of my supplements, and I've been downing my water along with electrolytes to make sure that I'm getting what I need and staying in my calorie deficit. I also make sure that I work out. I've talked about moving your body a ton. It is so incredibly important. Movement is paramount when it comes to losing weight. Again, going back to that calorie deficit, a calorie deficit just means that you're eating less than what your body needs every day to survive. And the best way to help you stay in a calorie deficit is to work out. So then if you eat what your body needs and then you work out, you're always going to be in a calorie deficit. I know for me that if I'm not working out, I am not losing. The scale will not move. I will stay the same. It won't go up as long as I'm eating, the way that I've been eating. However, it will not go down either. So I have to move, and I move in all different ways, you guys. We have so many options when it comes to working out. I have the WalkFit app that I love. I've talked about, that's like walk in place exercises. I love that. That was great for me when I was heavier and I was just getting started because I couldn't do a lot of exercising. My feet hurt so bad. My feet hurt so badly, sorry. But I also have a weighted vest now that I use for walking, or when I use the WalkFit app. I also have a rower. That's great for exercising. I also love any kind of home workout. So I use the Body app. That's really great. My whole family uses that. Danny loves the Body app too. Get Healthy UTV has been great in utilizing at-home workouts. And I've recently started adding Pilates. I love Pilates. I use the Better Me app, and I purchased their home Pilates kit that, has a ball and resistance bands and all that good stuff, and like the little ring, I don't even know, but it's wonderful. And weightlifting. I've been doing a lot of weightlifting. I try to lift weights 4 to 5 times a week, just trying to put on some muscle, you know what I mean, and gain back the muscle, because you will lose muscle when you're on a GLP-1. That does happen. And so I'm trying really hard to maintain what I have and put on more. But you have to find what's gonna work for you. Honestly, it is a lifestyle, mental shift. That is the best way that I can describe it. I don't think of myself as being on a diet. I am not in a diet. There's nothing that I will say no to, literally nothing. I will eat or drink anything that I want. I just do it in moderation and I get fuller faster. And I'm able to say no if I don't really want it. That's the great thing about the GLP-1 medication for me, is the food noise. I don't have food noise. I don't think about food all of the time, or I gotta rush through this dinner so that I can get to dessert. It's made such a huge difference for me in that sense. But that is a lifestyle change. Making sure that I am being very mindful, eating mindfully. I eat when I'm hungry and I don't when I'm not. I don't force myself to finish things. I don't eat it just because it's there and I like it if I'm not hungry. And that's been a huge change. I have hit a couple of plateaus. I think my longest plateau was like almost a month. And when I went in to go see my doctor for my annual, I told her about the plateau and she was like, we need to up your medication. And so we did. And I'm now at the highest dose, the 15 milligrams for Zepbound. That's tirzepatide, that's the highest dose. But I've noticed that if I want to get myself out of the plateau, the number one way for me to do it is to move, is to exercise, change what I'm doing. I might need to increase the amount of food that I'm eating, or decrease what I'm eating, or change what I'm eating. Just change it up. If you're on a plateau, change it up. Do something differently. If you're taking a GLP-1 medication and you're on a plateau, you might need to change where you're injecting your medication. I inject in my tummy all the time. I go back and forth, just like right here. I go, either side each week. But what I noticed was I have a lot of extra loose skin. All of this down here on me is all loose skin. And I was injecting down there because sometimes I'll bruise. So I was like, let me just put it really low. I don't know why. It's not like I wear a bikini or something, but I was injecting into my loose skin. And I think that was contributing to my plateau because I wasn't feeling the effects of the shot at all. I've since been mindful, made sure that I'm doing it in fatty tissue, and I've been fine ever since I made that change. So for me, I think the biggest motivator and what has helped me stay on track for losing weight and what's helped me get to this 87-pound mark is the non-scale victories, you guys. Being able to move around without chronic pain all of the time. My energy levels are through the roof. You guys comment about that all the time in my videos. I wish I could share those energy levels with you. I feel so good, I just have this brand new lease on life. And the way my clothes fit, I have always been a person who loves clothing, but for a long time, I just had to wear what fit and what I felt comfortable in. And a lot of that, was just kind of hiding my body. And now it's so fun to be able to shop again and to go into a store. Perfect example, yesterday, I went to Victoria's Secret. Couldn't even tell you the last time I went into Victoria's Secret to shop for something for myself. I have taken my daughter in there to, buy underwear, that kind of thing, but I have not shopped for something in that store for myself in probably 15 years. I honestly couldn't even tell you. And so I went in there yesterday, and the lovely sales associate was like, should we measure you? Have you been measured recently? I was like, no, I haven't. And yes, we should. So she did. I've gone down tremendously. That was fun. And then as I was grabbing things to try on, I just took the size that, right now I'm currently in a large, some things medium, and if they're really oversized, and I don't want them to be super oversized, I can even fit in a small. I bought a t-shirt at Victoria's Secret yesterday that is meant to be massively oversized, and I didn't want it that way, so I bought it in a small, and it fits great. But it was nice to just be able to grab things that are my size and take them in, and everything fit. Everything looked good. I can order things online, Target, Old Navy, Walmart, buy them in my size. I read the reviews. Are they true to size? I know what size to buy. That's been really, really, really nice. Those non-scale victories really do keep you motivated, especially when you're losing 0.2 or 0.8, you know what I mean? When you're not losing 2.5 pounds because you're inching a lot closer to your goal, you're gonna start losing a lot slower. So let's talk real talk for a minute, like the stuff that people don't tell you about losing weight that, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So for me, it's definitely body image issues. I definitely struggle with body image issues. I struggle to look in the mirror and not just see things like loose skin, saggy skin, or like the parts of my body that I'm still actively trying to lose weight or to tone. It's hard for me to look in the mirror and just feel like really proud of myself. Instead, I look in the mirror and I criticize myself. And that is, I think, part of the human experience. But also, I think it's part of the experience for someone who has battled with weight issues their entire life. I very vividly remember being on a diet in like the 3rd or 4th grade. You know what I mean? Just being very, very aware that my body looked different than most of my friends. And I was wearing bigger sizes than my friends. And so changing the way that I see myself is very, very, very difficult. Sometimes it feels a little bit like imposter syndrome. Sometimes like I look at myself and I don't feel like who I am on the inside matches who I am on the outside. You know what I mean? I don't always feel like I feel like that person that I see. And, you know, I think that will just take time and maybe some therapy. I also feel like one of the things that has been interesting for me in my weight loss journey, and I don't really know how to describe this, but for a long time, while I was in the throes of, you know, the hard parts of parenting, you know, motherhood, like when your kids are really little, and when I was really heavy, I was really unhappy and I felt like I really lost myself. I lost touch with who I am as a whole person, you know, a complete woman, not just a mom. And I hid away from a lot of parts of myself because I just was so uncomfortable with who I was on the outside that I wasn't like my whole vibrant self, if that makes sense. And now I feel like I can be that whole vibrant self. I'm no longer in public education, so now I feel like here on YouTube and like my social media presence, I can be more of my whole self. You know, all of it, all of my quirkiness, my individuality, if you will. And I feel like I've been like I'm getting my confidence back, and that has shifted some of my relationships in real life and some of my relationships here on social media. I actually very vividly remember a comment I recently received from a viewer talking about how I think it actually said my newfound confidence turns them off. And that they were going to unsubscribe and that my content has changed. And it has. I totally recognize that it has, but I have changed, right? And so it's gonna change. But that is something I would say people don't talk about a lot in a weight loss journey. I can guarantee that if I reached out to anybody who has lost a significant amount of weight, they will say that their relationships in their life have changed for the good and the bad. My relationship with my husband has never been better, never been stronger. Our marriage has never been stronger. My relationship with my kids has never been stronger. My relationship with myself has never been stronger. Like I feel so in tune with who I am, but that doesn't always translate to my relationship with other people. And that's okay. That's okay. But definitely some relationship changes, definitely some changes in, you know, my presence on social media and maybe the way that's received. I would say it's 99.5% positive, and there's always that 0.5% where you're just not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. I also have been sharing a lot more about like my mental health, about my ADHD, about, you know, my struggles as a parent. I am not a perfect parent. I know sometimes here on social media or on YouTube, it comes off that I'm very prim and proper. I am the polar opposite of prim and proper. If you know me in real life, you know that that's kind of laughable actually. But I feel like I'm able to share a little bit more of that with you guys as I feel more comfortable and confident in who I am. And I don't know how losing weight and being my whole authentic self, I don't know how those two things combine, but they do. And, you know, sometimes relationships change, and that's okay. But it's something I think people don't really talk about, you know, in a setting like this. So let's close this out with some tips for anyone getting started on their journey. If I could sit down and have a conversation with my past self, I would say it's not always going to be like this. This is a chapter, and that you're worth taking care of yourself the same way you take care of all the other people you love in your life. I think sometimes as women, we fall into this trap of needing to put on a mask of everything is okay, and we make sure that everybody else's needs are met, and sometimes that means there's nothing left for ourselves. And I definitely was one of those people for a very long time. And also, as a woman with ADHD, getting overwhelmed easily, having a mind that never slows down, having big ambitions, and equally big self-criticism when I'm not meeting goals that I've set for myself, I think that it was very easy to just stay in this self-sabotage wheel. And if I could just sit down with a past version of myself and just hug her and tell her it's all gonna be okay. And that nothing is lost forever. Another big part of my journey was healing from childhood trauma. And I have an entire video on healing from trauma, but I had very significant trauma, and I don't want, to trigger anybody. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I'll link that video for you down below. I just don't want to trigger anybody in this video, but I think that sometimes we subconsciously put on weight to make ourselves maybe a little less noticed, and that can be a trauma response. And I know that now. I know that both as a mental health professional and as someone who experienced it. And so that is my other advice, is if you're getting started on a weight loss journey and you have trauma in your life that you are either avoiding or currently actively working through, just know that it is going to get worse before it's better. And you do have to address those things because your body holds on to that stuff. Your body holds memories. And for every pound I've lost, I will say I've also shed the bruises and the scars of all of those things from my past. And I don't think I would be here at 87 pounds if I hadn't addressed those things as well. One mindset shift for me that has changed everything and has allowed for me to get to this point is literally one bite at a time, one day at a time, one meal at a time. It's not all or nothing. Nothing in the world is all or nothing. If you have that mindset about weight loss, it can be very easy to get overwhelmed and to fall off the wagon, if you will, because you eat something you've deemed bad for you, and all of a sudden your whole day is ruined and there's no point in eating anything healthy from that point on. And I used to have that all or nothing mindset, but changing that, shifting that mindset has changed everything. Nothing is off limits. I want to go out to eat and eat a deliciously decadent meal, I will. I just know how to now balance my calories or work out or whatever it is I need to do. But that mindset shift changed everything for me. Sorry guys, I didn't think I was gonna get emotional in this video. I have gotten emotional in my previous videos about weight loss, and I thought like maybe we had gotten rid of all that and done all of that, but apparently, apparently not. I am a Scorpio and perimenopausal ADHD woman. I'm going to get emotional. I just have big emotions sometimes, but that is my update for now. 87 pounds. My goal is 100 pounds. I would like to sit comfortably somewhere between 160 and 165. That, giving myself just, your weight fluctuates every single day, and everything depends on where you are in your cycle. It depends on, tons of things. And so that's kind of where I would like to be. I also have an appointment at the end of the month with a plastic surgeon to talk about the options for loose skin removal. It's something that really, really bothers me, and I didn't think it would, but I also don't think, I don't think I thought I would get here. You know what I mean? I think it didn't bother me, or I didn't think it would, because I never thought I would have the amount of loose skin that I have, because I didn't think I'd lose this much weight. But it does. It bothers me a lot. And people make comments in my videos about, you know, you still have a lot of weight to lose, or your stomach is big. And I'm like, I'm aware it is big. It's skin, you know what I mean? A, from 6 pregnancies, and B, from massive weight gain and weight loss. And so there's nothing I can do about it except remove it or accept it. So I'm gonna just see what my options are. So that's, you know, coming at the end of the month. I'll fill you guys in on how that appointment goes. My current goal right now is, yes, to lose more weight, but I am okay if it's a lot slower, because I'm actively trying to put on muscle at the same time. So I recognize that, you know, I may not lose as quickly, because are on the scale anyway. I do see it in my clothes. I've seen a massive difference in the way my clothes fit. But again, I've started Pilates and I'm weightlifting, and I really think it's just changing my body as a whole. My friend Lisa, I don't know if she watches my videos or not. Lisa, if you're watching, shout out to you. But she has challenged me to some 30-day workout challenge. So we're gonna do that. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it has to do with like a certain amount of burpees and squats and all these things. And so I was like, all right. She tried to get me to run a race with her, and I said, I don't run. It's not my jam. Hurts my feet, and I've got a larger chest, and that's very uncomfortable to run, and, you know, just not my thing. So sorry, Lisa. But I did tell her I would take on another challenge for her. And I am just committed right now to living my best life, being the best version of myself, the best wife, the best mom, the best business owner, the best, you know, friend, daughter, whatever. And holding boundaries, you know what I mean? But also just, I don't want to suppress anything anymore. I just want to be 100% authentically myself. And some people are gonna love that, and some people are not, and that is okay. And I'm really excited about this next chapter in my life, and just feeling comfortable and confident in who I am. I know that so many of you are on weight loss journeys as well. I get daily DMs on Instagram. I get comments here on YouTube. I get private emails to each and every one of you who have messaged me and told me that I have somehow motivated you or inspired you to make healthy changes in your life. Thank you for sharing that with me. It is beyond touching. That's why I share these things on here. That's why I do these videos, because I know that when I decided that I had to make a life-saving change, I immediately went to go seek out other women who had done the same, so that I could be motivated by them, and to know that I can be that inspiration for someone else. That's another non-scale victory too, because it is hard to lose weight on your own. It is hard to make any life changes on your own. I am blessed. I have an incredibly supportive family. My husband is the best person on the planet, and I feel so supported always. My doctor is incredibly supportive. Really, honestly, all of you guys are supportive. It's been incredible. And I just want to be a support for you guys too. So, you know, if you are on a weight loss journey, let us know down below. Let us all as a community come beside you and support you. If you have questions, let me know down below. I am happy to answer anything that I can. And share this, share these videos, share the weight loss playlist with people in your life that you know. If maybe you're not on a weight loss journey, but someone you know is, if there's someone in your life you think that might benefit from hearing my story, or learning more about, you know, the way that I have addressed weight management, please share this information with them. It could be very helpful for them as well. So thank you guys for joining me in today's video. Subscribe if you aren't already. I can't wait to share that 100 pound down milestone with you. I've shared all my other great milestones with you, and I can't wait to share that one too. So thank you again for being incredibly supportive. If you've made it this far in this long-winded video, give me a muscle emoji in the comments so that I know that you're here. I really do appreciate all of you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, my friends.